Hola a todos, bienvenidos a Idioma Academy. El día de hoy vamos a estudiar 134 verbos irregulares. Ahora los veremos en su forma infinitiva y en su pasado. Recuerden que este tipo de verbos no siguen las reglas estudiadas anteriormente, sino que cambian al transformarlos en su pasado. Si desean obtener la lista de estos verbos con sus pronunciaciones, lo pueden descargar de nuestra página de Facebook. Simplemente pueden ingresar a Google y escribir www.facebook.com/Idioma Academy. Haz clic en Photos o Fotos y allí encontrarás la lista de estos verbos. En el desarrollo de este video utilizaremos la siguiente estructura. Al lado izquierdo colocaré los verbos en su forma básica o infinitiva y en su lado derecho a los verbos en su forma de pasado. Asimismo, he desarrollado un conjunto de oraciones para entender mejor el uso de estos verbos en su forma de pasado. Empecemos. To arise, arose, arose. A storm arose during the night. Arose. To be, was, where. She was my friend last year. Was. To become, became. I became a U.S. citizen in 2004. Became. To bear, bore. She bore her illness with great fortitude. Bore. To beat, beat. Mary beat me at chess. Beat. To begin, began. A light rain began to fall. Began. To bend, bent. She bent down to pick up her glove. Bent. To bet. He bet $500 on the final score of the game. Bet. To bind, bound. They bound him down with cords. Bound. To bite, bit. She bit the apple. Bit. To bleed, bled. The soldiers bled for the cause. Bled. To blow, blew. He blew all the candles. Blew. To break, broke. She broke the plates yesterday. Broke. To breed, bred. She bred her son to become a doctor. Bred. To bring, brought. I brought my daughter to the office. Brought. To build, built. I built this house. Built. To burst, Fireworks burst across the night sky yesterday. Burst. To buy, bought. I bought some apples yesterday. Bought. To catch, caught. My brother caught a fish last summer. Caught. To choose, chose. Jim chose Mary for his wife. Chose. To cling, clung. They clung together in terror. Clung. To come, came. They came to school very late. came. To cost, cost, cost. This book only cost me $1. Cost. To creep, crept, crept. She crept silently out of the room. Crept. To cut, cut, cut. I cut myself while was cooking. Cut. To deal, dealt, dealt. We dealt with this in a previous chapter. Dealt. To do, did, did. I did my homework yesterday. Did. To dig, dug, dug. He dug a deep hole in the garden. Dug. To draw, drew, drew. I drew a beautiful garden last summer. Drew. To drink, drank, drank. He drank a beer in the morning. Drank. To drive, drove, drove. I drove a taxi last year. Drove. To eat, ate, ate. She ate a hamburger for lunch. Ate. To fall, fell, fell. She fell and hurt her arm. Fell. To feed, fed, fed. Tom fed his dog with leftovers. Fed. To feel, felt, felt. We all felt sad about his death. Felt. To fight, fought, fought. We fought for the honor of our country. Fought. To find, found, found. I found $20 yesterday. Found. To fit, fit, fit. She fit the picture into the frame. Fit. To flee, fled, fled. The thieves fled when they saw the police. Fled. To fly, flew, flew. She flew from Colorado to London. Flew. To forbid, forbade, forbade. I forbade them from mentioning the subject again. Forbade. To forget, forgot, forgot. I forgot to tell you something. Forgot. To forgive, forgave, forgave. I forgave her a long time ago. Forgave. To forsake, forsook, forsook. She forsook her notebook for new technologies. Forsook. To freeze, froze, froze. The smile froze on her face. Froze. To get, got, got. He got away just before the enemy came. Got. To give, gave, gave. She gave me her keys yesterday. Gave. To go, went, went. I went to the zoo last year. Went. To grind, ground, ground. She ground out her cigarette on the pavement. Ground. To grow, grew, grew. I grew up in Chicago. Grew. To hang, hung, hung. I hung my coat behind the door. Hung. To have, had, had. I had a lot of toys when I was a child. Had. To hear, heard, heard. I heard something in the kitchen. Heard. To hide, hid, hid. I hid the money under your bed. Hid. To hit, hit, hit. Jim hit Tom at the school. Hit. To hold, held, held. I held the mouse by its tail. Held. To hurt, hurt, hurt. Tom hurt his back when he fell off a ladder. Hurt. To keep, kept, kept. I kept my promise. Kept. To know, knew, knew. I knew that I was pregnant. Knew. To lay, laid, laid. He laid his coat on a chair. Laid. To lead, led, led. She led the children along the path out of the forest. Led. To leave, left, left. He left work in March. Left. To lend, lent, lent. She lent me some money the other day. Lent. To let, let, let. She let the pool empty. Let. To lie, lay, lay. When Mary had the flu, she laid in bed for almost 2 days. Lay. To light, lit, lit. My sister lit the gas and began to cook the dinner. Lit. To lose, lost, lost. I lost my keys last month. Lost. To make, made, made. He made us some coffee. Made. To mean, meant, meant. I think she meant 8 o'clock, although she said 4 o'clock. Meant. To meet, met, met. They met at work. Met. To mistake, mistook, mistook. She mistook him for the professor. Mistook. To pay, paid, paid. I paid all my bills yesterday. Paid. To put, put, put. She put her arm around him. Put. To quit, quit, quit. Her assistant quit without an explanation. Quit. To read, read, read. I read the newspaper this morning. Read. To rid, rid, rid. She went to the beach to relax and rid herself of all her worries. Rid. To ride, rode, rode. A small boy rode on the elephant's back. Rode. To ring, ring, ring. I rang the doorbell, but nobody answered. Ring. To rise, rose, rose. The smoke rose from the campfire. Rose. To run, ran, ran. They ran for the bus and gathered just in time. Ran. To say, said, said. When he said that, I had to agree. To see, saw, saw. I saw a ghost on my bed. Saw. To seek. Sought. Sought. She sought guidance from the Almighty. Sought. To sell. Sold. Sold. I sold my car last year. Sold. To send. Sent. Sent. I sent it by first-class post. Sent. To set. 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 He set some flowers on the table. Set. To shake. Shook. Shook. Her hands shook as she opened the letter. Shook. To shed. 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 She shed a few tears at her daughter's wedding. Shed. To shine. Shone. Shone. Cops shone their flashlights into the car window. Shone. To shoot. Shot. Shot. He shot the bird with his gun. Shot. To show. Showed. Showed. They showed me their paintings yesterday. Showed. To shrink. Shrank. Shrank. I shrank my sweater by putting it in the dryer. Shrank. To shot. 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 I shot the book and put it back on the shelf. Shot. To sing. Sang. Sang. Birds sang cheerfully in the trees. Sang. To sit. Sat. Sat. He sat her on a chair and told her not to move. Sat. To sleep. Slept. Slept. We slept under the open sky. Slept. To slide. Slid. Slid. He slid his hand into his back pocket. Slid. To sling. Slung. Slung. She came in and slung her coat over a chair. Slung. To slit. 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 I slit the envelope with a knife. Slit. To speak. Spoke. Spoke. He spoke in a haughty tone. Spoke. To speed. Sped. Sped. The bus sped down the long hill. Sped. To spend. Spent. Spent. We spent a lot of money on our vacation last year. Spent. To spin. Spun. Spun. He spun the wheel of his bicycle. Spun. To split. 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 The teacher split the class into 3 groups. Split. To spread. 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 She spread out the tablecloth. Spread. To spring. Sprang. Sprang. He sprang up and rushed to the door. Sprang. To stand. Stood. Stood. He stood on the edge of the cliff. Stood. To steal. Stole. Stole. Who stole the apple? Stole. To stick. Stuck. Stuck. She stuck her foot in that hole. Stuck. To sting. Stung. Stung. A bee stung me on the cheek. Stung. To stink. Stank. Stank. The pond stank like a sewer. Stank. To strike. Struck. Struck. She struck him on the nose. Struck. To strive. strove, strove. He strove very hard to remain calm. Strove. To swear, swore, swore. He swore he would love her forever. Swore. To sweep, swept, swept. I swept under every piece of furniture. Swept. To swim, swam, swam. The boys swam across the lake. Swam. To swing, swung, swung. The lamp swung in the breeze. Swung. To take, took, took. They took the bus in the morning. Took. To teach, taught, taught. I taught English to my children. Taught. To tear, tore, tore. He angrily tore the letter up. Tore. To tell, told, told. I told her not to move. Told. To think, thought, thought. I thought she was my sister. Thought. To throw, threw, threw. My friend threw the ball back over the fence. Threw. To understand, understood, understood. I understood little of what he said. Understood. To upset, upset, upset. The governor's speech upset a lot of people. Upset. To wake, woke, woke. The noise of the storm woke the kids. Woke. To wear, wore, wore. I wore a hole in my favorite sweater. Wore. To weave, wove, wove. I wove a sweater. Wove. To weep, wept, wept. He wept when he heard the sad news. Wept. To win, won, won. Our team won the game. Won. To wind, wound, wound. You wound that bandage tightly around my wrist. Wound. To withdraw, withdrew, withdrew. My mother withdrew $100 from her account. Withdrew. To wring, wrung, wrung. She wrung out the shirt and hung it up to dry. Wrung. To write, wrote, wrote. She wrote a letter to her mother. Wrote. Ahora los invito a ver el audio número 2, que es acerca del tiempo pasado. Aquí repasaremos los 134 sonidos de los verbos en pasado. Y asimismo los invito a realizar el listening número 13, que es acerca de este tema. Y eso sería todo por hoy. No olviden darle like al video, suscribirse y seguirnos en nuestras redes sociales. Y nos vemos en el siguiente tutorial.